Hey, honey, how's it going?
I was about to ask you the same question. Getting all packed?
I feel like I have the whole house torn apart. I'm not a light packer. Sorry.
That's okay. I kind of already knew that about you.
I just always think, what if the apocalypse happens and I'm far away from home without any underwear?
It's a legitimate concern.
You're darn right it is.
It's most certainly been a long time since I've been home. I don't even know what to pack or how much.
I guess we're used to hiking trips more than packing for a trip these days. Still, it'll be good to finally meet your parents.
Yeah, that might be a good idea sometime before the wedding.
But it's not for lack of trying. Every time we've had a break from school, they've been spending time with the sea turtles or spider monkeys or whatever.
The conservation stuff is very important to them, especially since they retired. But it would be nice if they could carve out some time for their only son and his new fiance once in a while.
I wish they lived closer. I've always wanted to have a big family, all close by and together.
Don't speak too soon. Some families can get a little too close, you know what I mean?
Not really in this context.
Well, even though my parents aren't close in terms of proximity, they're close.
Oh, you mean smothering? Like emotionally?
I told you they were old hippies, right?
Right, yeah, you did.
With all the herbal remedies and astrology and stuff like that.
Sure.
Well, they also were always just so huggy-kissy, especially my mother. It was embarrassing.
So she'd like to hug and kiss you in front of your friends and stuff?
Yeah, and I just hated it.
Well, you've met my parents. They certainly are about as far from that as you can get.
When I shook your dad's hand, it was like a cold fish.
I know, it's a problem. He took lessons once.
Handshaking lessons?
Yeah, through his company. His boss made him take them. He got better for a while, but it didn't take.
That's too bad. But with everyone just fist bumping these days, maybe he's ahead of his time.
I don't think my dad's ahead of anything.
More so than my dad. At least he has a cell phone.
Yeah, a track phone. He refuses to get a smartphone. He says he doesn't need one.
Well, my parents have 0 cell phones, and they only have a landline because it's a rental. If they hadn't burnt their house down during that ceremony last solstice, they wouldn't have a phone at all.
Well, I can't say I blame them. In fact, maybe I'm a little jealous. I wouldn't mind not having this thing every once in a while.
Well, you'll get a break when we get there.
What do you mean?
No phones in the house. That's the rule.
What are you talking about? What do you mean no phones in the house?
That's my mom's rule. No phones.
Well, why? Because they're evil or something? The electromagnetic waves? The 5G?
She thinks they're an unnatural distraction and possibly the end of all humankind.
Well, she has a point there. I don't know. Maybe that'll be a good thing. Family time, no distractions.
What about school? Won't you have to keep up with emails and stuff?
Oh, yeah, that's true. Do you think she'll let me go outside at least?
I don't know. You may have to go out in the woods behind their house.
What? Are you serious? That's a little extreme, don't you think?
Well, I do, but I think the whole thing is extreme. I think naming your son Link is pretty extreme, too.
I like your hippie name. Nobody else has it. I've certainly never met another Link.
Yeah, I haven't either. That's the problem. Plus, you just like it because you're a Zelda nerd.
That may have something to do with it. My hero.
Yeah.
Speaking of hero, when are you going to come save me from my giant packing disaster? I'm seriously drowning here.
Do you need me to come help you pack?
I seriously do. I have a packing problem. I need your master packing help assistance.
I'll be home soon, just finishing up at the studio.
I can't believe my fiance is opening up a rock climbing studio. That's so cool.
It really is, if I may say so myself.
What have your parents said about it?
Oh, well, nothing much, really.
Well, what do you mean nothing much?
I mean, they're proud of me, I think.
You think? You haven't talked to them about it?
Yeah, of course I have, but I don't know. Sometimes I just get the impression they think it's a waste of time.
But they're hippie outdoorsy type people. I think they'd think that was pretty awesome.
Exactly. The key word being outdoors.
So you think they hold it against you that it's an indoor rock climbing studio?
I'm telling you, they hate anything artificial. Everything has to be real and honest.
So not dirty, lying, artificial rocks.
Something like that. But besides all of that, they're pretty cool, I swear. I'm not really doing a good job selling them, am I?
It's okay, really. I'm sure they're great. I like real people. I mean, it's not like we aren't guilty of being kind of hippies ourselves.
Just because we listen to NPR and go to Dave Matthews concerts doesn't mean we're hippies, though.
I'm afraid it kind of does, Link. I think you have it in you whether you like it or not. It's in your blood, your dirty hippie blood.
Oh, great.
Stop worrying. I'm not going to judge them. Are you afraid they're going to judge me or something?
I don't know what I'm afraid of. I guess that's what makes me so afraid. They're unpredictable. One minute you'll be having a normal conversation, and then somehow they find some excuse to bring up organic farming or astrology or the Grateful Frickin' Dead.
Well, I'm sure we'll get through it, honey. Together, okay? It's only a few days, so get back here and help me pack.
Okay, I'll be right there.
You do have the plane tickets, right?
On my nightstand.
Great. I didn't want a repeat of that flight to Mexico you were telling me about.
Which I told you wasn't my fault.
Right, sure, babe. See you soon. Hello, Tony. Hi. Can I ask who this is? Oh, I'm sorry. Of course you don't have our number yet. This is your future mother-in-law, Sky. Oh, hi, Sky. How are you? Oh, just wonderful. I didn't want texting to be how we first met. I think it's a rude and crude form of communication. But I know how you younger generations rely on it, so I figured I'd at least introduce myself. Oh, well, that's actually really thoughtful of you. Thanks. It can be so stressful, meeting new in-laws. I figured maybe this will take some of that stress off. Sure, thanks. I remember when I met Alpa's parents. Oh, it was so stressful. We had just come back from a commune in Washington State. It was called The Dawn of Aquarius. Not very original, I know, but a truly life-changing experience. But Alpa's parents were Barry Goldwater voters, you see. Oh, yeah, that must have been awkward. Can you imagine? Anyway, dear, I just wanted to tell you how excited we are to host you both. Well, I really appreciate it. I'm just so glad we finally get to meet after all this time. I was beginning to think the first time I'd meet my mother-in-law was at my wedding. I know! I said the exact same thing to Alpa. The exact same thing! So have you two left yet? Actually, we're in the car on the way to the airport. Oh, wonderful. Is my son driving safely and responsibly? Oh, well, of course he is. Do I sense some sarcasm? I like you already. We're sarcastic, too. It's a great weapon to use against the status quo. Oh, right. Well, tell him his wonderful mother says hello and to slow down. He says hi and yes, mother. Well, I hope you'll bring an appetite tonight. A friend of mine is coming over to cook us an incredible vegan meal. Oh, great. That sounds good. You are a vegan, right? I mean, my son is vegan, so I would only assume you are as well. I mean, I wouldn't think he would date a non-vegan, much less marry one. Link, vegan? Well, he still is now, isn't he? He says, yes, mother. Well, that's good, because if not, his father and I would have to sit him down for a long talk when you two get here. But what about you? You are as well, correct? Well, I mean, I'm a vegetarian. Oh, just a vegetarian? I eat sushi occasionally. Excuse me, sushi? As in fish? But not for a long time. I mean like a really long time. And I don't think I'm ever going to have it again. I mean, I don't plan on it. Well, when we know better, we do better, right, dear? Right, yes, I've always found that to be true. I like that. Maya Angelou. Oh, that's a Maya Angelou quote? Mm-hmm. Wonderful, I love her. I have a calendar up in the kitchen with all of her quotes. Alpa got it for me last Earth Day. I told him no gifts, but do you think he listens? Oh, presents for Earth Day? I've never thought of that. Well, of course, Mother has given us so much. It's only right we give on her day as well. Mother Earth? Yes, of course. Right, that's pretty cool. Yeah, I can be down with that. Be down with that? Ha, I love it. So, this is a little uncomfortable, but did Link tell you about the cell phone policy? Right, no phones in the house. I know it's a little unconventional, but it's just something we strongly believe in. Sure, I totally respect that. So I hope you worked out everything in advance with your school and such. What do you mean? Well, with the emails and all, since you won't be allowed to respond while you're here. Allowed? Well, you know what I mean. There's some I'm going to have to look at. Would it be okay if I just stepped outside for a minute? Well, there's a coffee shop in town. You could get on the interweb there. Oh, okay, sure, thanks. I hope you know we do have some rather unconventional ideas about some things. Well, yeah, Link told me, but that's cool, so do I. So it's best to just be prepared for anything with us. Consider it as a kind of, a test. A test? Sort of. Okay. Wonderful. Well, now that that's taken care of, I'll let you all get to it. Have a safe flight, dear. See you soon. Thanks, Sky. Bye. Oh, this is just so exciting. I'm so excited. Test.
Honey, where are you?
Where do you think? I'm at the coffee shop in town.
Can't you just come back to the house so we can all talk?
I don't know. Would I have to be naked, too?
Come on, I'm sure it was just a misunderstanding.
A misunderstanding? It was a misunderstanding when I walked into the living room and your parents and their friends were all sitting there naked as the day they were born?
I talked to them and they didn't think you were up yet.
Up yet? What does that have to do with anything? I was still in the house. I could have walked in on them at any minute, and then I did, of course.
And they feel really, really bad about that.
Well, what the hell were they doing anyway? Just sitting around playing Jenga in the nude with their friends?
Well, it's Sunday.
Yeah, so?
They kind of do this every Sunday.
Wait a minute, you're telling me that every Sunday your parents have a naked Jenga party with their friends?
Yes.
Since when?
Since always, since forever.
You mean, even when you were a kid?
Nudity was just kind of an accepted thing in our family, you know?
No, I don't know. That's one crazy hippie thing about them you didn't tell me.
It's not crazy.
Excuse me?
It's not crazy. I don't know why you have to call them crazy.
Well, it certainly isn't normal, Link.
Well, what's normal?
Are you a closet nudist or something? Because maybe you should tell me now.
Well, I'm not a nudist, but I don't see any reason to be ashamed of your body.
And I don't either, and I'm not judging them. Them and their friends can do whatever they want, and do, obviously. But you don't see a problem with your parents and their friends sitting around naked on a Sunday morning with their soon-to-be daughter-in-law, who they just met, sleeping in the other room?
Well, now that you put it like that, it does seem a little unusual. I mean, I guess it would be for the uninitiated.
Uninitiated? Like me?
You know what I mean. Just people who've never been around something like that.
Well, consider me initiated.
You know, I really do get it. I'd be shocked if your parents did something crazy like that.
Ew, please don't put that image in my head. This morning's been traumatizing enough.
Sorry, but I don't know. I can't help but think maybe I'd at least try to be a little supportive.
What do you mean by supportive?
I mean, I get that it was surprising and all, and poor judgment on their part.
Yeah, more like indecent exposure.
But you practically ran out of the house screaming, and now you're in town and refusing to come back.
I'm not refusing to come back, Link. I just don't know how to feel about all of this. It's going to be unbelievably awkward walking into that house again.
I'll talk to them.
What are you going to say? I mean, no offense, but it kind of sounds like you're on their side.
I'm not on anyone's side, Tony.
Well, you really don't seem to be putting yourself in my position here, Link.
I'm trying.
Well, try harder. I respect your parents and how they want to live their lives, but they need to respect others as well. And not try to challenge them.
What do you mean?
That's what your mom said to me on the way to the airport. She was going to challenge me.
Oh, dear God.
So, was that what this was? A challenge to see if I would strip down and join the Jenga? To see if I can hang, so to speak?
Bad choice of words.
This is so creepy, Link.
Well, will you at least come back here? It's getting dark out.
Just give me a little more time, okay?
Okay, fine.
Hey, Dad.
Well, hey there, sweetheart. How you doing? How's those hippie in-laws?
Out of their freaking minds.
Not surprised in the slightest. I like Link, but I get the impression he was raised by some strange people.
Well, as usual, your instincts are honed.
So, what are they doing? Singing Kumbaya around the campfire and taking acid every night?
Well, I can tolerate the wind instruments, vegan food.
Ugh, they're feeding you vegan food?
And only vegan food.
Oh, honey, do you need me to come rescue you?
I don't know, but I'm as gassy as your old pickup truck.
Oh, Lord. That'll show 'em.
I don't know if I can marry into this family, Daddy.
Oh, it can't be that bad. Old hippies are annoying, but generally harmless, at least in my experience.
Dad, I just walked in on all of them naked.
What? What are you talking about?
I woke up, got out of bed, walked into the living room, and there they were with two other couples, playing Jenga.
Playing Jenga?
Jenga.
Naked?
Naked.
But why?
They're nudists, apparently.
But since when?
Since always, and Link just apparently neglected to tell me.
But they're just sitting around naked, being nudists, in front of you?
Yes!
But why?
That's a very good question, but I think I know the answer.
Which is?
I think they're challenging me, testing my hippie bona fides.
Well, you're a vegetarian, you're always camping and stuff.
Sadly, I don't think that counts.
You recycle.
I guess that's true.
Well, dear, that's all weird, wild stuff.
What should I do? I'm currently hiding from them in a coffee shop in town.
Well, that's not sustainable.
Yeah, it's getting dark.
Well, obviously what they did was wrong. You're a guest and their future daughter-in-law. We all have our beliefs, but you need to accommodate others in regards to them the best you can.
You're saying it wouldn't have hurt them to skip naked Jenga for a week until their son and his fiance left town?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. But, on the other hand, if it was some weird psychological mind game, that's a whole other problem entirely. And if that's the case, you just have a crazy mother-in-law.
Great.
It's a tough one.
I wish Mom was here to tell me what I should do. She would know. She always knew what to do in these crazy situations.
That she did, but in this one, I'm not so sure she could help you.
Why's that?
Well, I doubt she ever told you this, and I certainly didn't, but we flirted a little with nudism back in the day.
What?
Of course, this was before you were born.
What do you mean? Where?
There was a little nude beach up here by Griefport. Every summer we'd go up there and spend a few days there.
This is mind-blowing.
Well, it was a long time ago.
I had no idea you two were so free.
Well, it was your mother's idea. She was the free one, believe me.
Wow, this is something.
Well, don't let it send you into therapy. It was the 70s.
So, maybe you are the right person to talk to then. Maybe I'm the uptight one.
You aren't uptight just because you don't want to see your in-laws and their old friends naked, honey. Nudity isn't for everyone.
I guess you're right.
So go back there, be polite, ask them some questions about it maybe. Then go home and wash your eyes out with bleach. Sometimes we gotta go along to get along.
I'll try.
There you go. In-laws aren't always easy, but if we love the person we're with, it's worth it.
Pants or not, I guess. Tony eventually went back to the house, and after an awkward yet enlightening conversation about boundaries, everyone patched it up. The wedding went on as planned, and clothing was mandatory. For Tony's dad, their conversation about public nudity sparked a renewed interest in the topic, and he decided to visit a nudist colony that spring. Coincidentally, he met Link's parents there during a game of nude pickleball, and they became fast friends.